Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and many of you know that I partake in video games. I dabble in that particular world, but I would never call it an addiction. Not one that's not manageable, at least, right? But anyway, gaming is a lot of what I do. Gaming is actually a lot of what a lot of us do. We enjoy the hobby. We like to get our hands dirty and play games. I guess that's the opposite of getting our hands dirty, but the point is, you know what I mean? Except here we see that gaming disorder is going to be named a mental condition for the first time. I don't know how I feel about that, to be bluntly honest with you, just based on the headline. Gaming disorder is going to be named a mental health condition for the first time. That seems a little bit odd to me. Now, it says here that gaming disorder is soon to be classified as a mental health condition for the very first time, New Scientist reports. The International Classification of Diseases is a diagnostic manual that's published by the World Health Organization. It was last updated 27 years ago in 1990. Okay, so 27 years ago, 1990, what was out? Right? The NES, the Atari, the Sega? The Genesis? Was that out? I can't tell you when. I was never a Sega guy, so I can't tell you when those came out. But I mean, we had PCs, you know, could play you could play some games back then. The Commodore, the TurboGrafx. I don't know. I'm probably screwing up a lot of dates here, but essentially, you know what I'm saying. Back in 1990, we were rocking an 8-bit era, you know, and so gaming addiction at the time, well, wasn't maybe a lot. You know, there's probably been a lot that's changed since then. And it says the 11th edition of the manual is due to be published in 2018 and will include gaming disorder as a serious health condition to be monitored. All right. But it says here that the wording of the gaming disorder hasn't been revealed yet. See, that to me comes across as like supremely disingenuous, you know, because we know that gamers and those who happen to just dabble in the hobby of video games have been getting absolutely, utterly shit on for a long time when it comes to defending our hobby, right? And I'm pretty sure if this gets classified by the World Health Organization as a thing, you're going to see hit piece after hit piece after hit piece against gamers from sites like Polygon and Kotaku talking about this, basically saying, well, we knew it, and you can tell 100% it was all Gamergate's fault. Gamergate, because at this point it's just like ultimately the internet boogeyman. It's just the boogeyman. It's the go-to scapegoat for all this kind of stuff. But no, seriously, I mean, like, that's what's going to happen. Is they're going to use this as a way to justify the assault on people who enjoy this hobby, who enjoy this community. It just makes perfect sense. That's what you would see coming out of this kind of revelation. But when the wording hasn't been revealed yet, when you don't quite know what to think of it just yet, what it might mean, it does get a little bit odd in terms of talking about it. Because I can sit there and get mad about what might happen, which is what I'm essentially doing. I can look at the situation and go, this is probably how it's going to be played out. But at the same time, is there problems, or are there problems that do stem from people playing far too many video games? And yeah, I think there might be, but sometimes I don't think it's as bad as something like this is going to make it out to be. However, let's continue. The draft outlines the criteria needed to determine whether someone can be classed as having a gaming disorder. Vladimir Pozniak, a member of the WHO's Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse, spoke about the importance of recognizing gaming disorder as an important issue. I like that they lumped in gaming underneath mental health and substance abuse. Listen, man, the hundreds of hours I've spent in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is not a problem. I can quit anytime. Anyway, he says here, health professionals need to recognize that gaming disorder may have serious health consequences. And you know what? Look, it does. Not a year goes by, not a year, where I don't come across a story of someone dying from playing video games or someone having killed themselves from having their games taken away. Usually this happens in Asian countries where people will go on like a 36-hour bender at a you know, an online cafe and die in their seat. Or you'll hear a story about a parent who took away their 15-year-old's MMO or whatever, their computer, and then the kid goes and commits seppuku with a frisbee as a result of this. It happens every single year. And it never makes it any less tragic year after year after year. So yeah, in some cases, there are absolutely going to be people who are addicted to what they play. But I don't always think it's the game that's the addiction, right? And I don't necessarily think it's even gaming itself that's the addiction. I think it plays to a much deeper problem here, but I almost feel like I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist or a counselor. I'm just an armchair commentator on the internet. I don't know. All I can tell you is what my gut's telling me, and this is how I view it. It says here, most people who play video games don't have a disorder, just like most people who drink alcohol don't have a disorder either. However, in certain circumstances, overuse can lead to adverse effects. Yeah, no, that's very true. There are people out there who play far too much. And people out there who drink far too much. And people out there who smoke pot far too much. And people out there who masturbate far too much. You know, I mean, I didn't get these silky smooth palms for nothing. The point is, yes, everything is fine in moderation. But it's when you have people that go above and beyond on the moderation portion that can lead into something like this happening. Now, last year, researchers from the University of Oxford's Internet Institute undertook a study to investigate the percentage of gamers who are addicted to video games. The study, published in the American Journal of Psychiatry, found that only 2 to 3% of the 19,000 men and women surveyed in the UK, the US, Canada, and Germany admitted that they've experienced 5 or more symptoms from the American Psychiatric Association checklist of health symptoms. 2 to 3%. That is such a nominal, like just a small number, right? You figure 19,000, what's that? Let's go with the high end 3%. So, you know, you're looking at 30 people per 1,000, right? So it's a very small, it's like 600 people, you know, it's a very small number. If my math is wrong, someone will correct me, but I think it's around 600 people. That's not that bad. I mean, in the overall spectrum of, like, you know, them, because how many times have you heard for years, especially like in the early 90s, right, when they had a lot with video games and you had like the attack on video games or violent video games from like Tipper Gore, you know, and Joe Lieberman. And how many times did you hear this when Jack Thompson was on his crusade? And how many times have you heard this when Anita Sarkeesian has been on her crusades? Like, you hear this kind of stuff all the time. You know that it's a lie. There are people out there who clearly do get addicted to this kind of stuff, but it's such a minimal amount. And the fact that the World Health Organization wants to classify it as a disorder kind of feels like a bit of a scare tactic. It kind of feels, I don't know, it feels like there's something else going on here. A few years ago, the APA created a list of 9 standard symptoms that could determine internet gaming disorder. These symptoms include anxiety, withdrawal symptoms, and antisocial behavior. I love the anxiety part. For one, when you're gaming, you're like, let's say for example, you're playing Bloodborne. Lots of bosses in that game. Every boss fight, you're anxious, man. Your anxiety levels are freaking lit. Play PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Get down to the top 10 when you're in the final circle and that wall's closing in and you don't know where the next shot's going to be coming from. That's intense, son. All right, like, there is anxiety that comes from playing gaming. Are they referring to anxiety from when you're not playing? Anxiety from when you don't have a controller in your hand or you're not looking at a screen? And this is something to consider as well, right? You look at, you know, withdrawal symptoms. Yeah, I get that too, right? There's times when I really want to play and I can't, and I get kind of frustrated because I'm like, I just want to, like, you know, that's how I relax. And then the antisocial behavior, let's just be realistic. With how many games these days require an online connection, almost every game pushes antisocial behavior. And the fact now that we have so many trolls online, it makes it almost difficult to get into a decent conversation and meet new people through the chat. It pushes more antisocial situations as well. Now, Dr. Andrew, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name, the lead author from the University of Oxford study, discussed their findings, saying, "To our knowledge, these are the first findings from a large-scale project to produce robust evidence on the potential new problem of internet gaming disorder. Contrary to what was predicted, the study did not find a clear link between potential addiction and negative effects on health. However, more research grounded in open and robust scientific practices is needed to learn if games are truly as addictive as many fear." I'm going to argue no. But you're always going to have those people out there that are like, won't somebody please think of the children when it comes to video games? And the reason why some people are going to go all hell and Lovejoy is because they look at games like mobile games on the phone that have like microtransactions that are built into the game itself, and kids who spend thousands of their parents' dollars, or they spend all of their money on these games. I mean, truth be told, when you've got those kind of games, it's never just a small amount of people that buy them where these companies make their money. They go after the whales. The whales actually dictate the development. So those are the people who probably are the ones who might have this kind of disorder. It makes me wonder if they were able to actually find a way to completely remove microtransactions from every game, if it would actually cure a couple of these people, or a fair amount of the people. If it's only 2 to 3% from the study that was put out there, then I mean, obviously, you know, I would run that test and see what happens. Now, while some may debate whether gaming does pose a threat to mental health, the amount of time many people spend playing video games is astounding. When researchers from ESET polled 500 gamers, they discovered that 10% admitted spending between 12 and 24 hours glued to their game screens. Yeah, but for how long? A week? A day? A month? Saying here, gaming is highly addictive. It's no wonder so many respondents from our study admit to playing them for so long. Yeah, it's true. Gaming is very, very, very much a release. It's very, very, very much a way to kind of escape. I use gaming as a bit of a coping mechanism, just my day doing this and getting into tiffs online with people, whatever. Gaming is kind of my way to chill. It's also how I communicate with my friends who live in different states, because I just seem to keep moving multiple times. You know, in the last couple of years, I've been California, Oregon, now Washington. So my friends are kind of spaced around. It is a way for us to spend time together. Now that I have a newborn daughter, it makes it very difficult to get into some of those matches. But like last night, for example, we fed her, put her down, and I got to spend a solid 3 hours playing PlayerUnknown, and I had a lot of fun. The point is that, you know, everything's fine in moderation, but people play. That's how they downtime. I mean, would you rather someone play video games or go out and drink alcohol? Would you rather someone play video games or go out and smoke weed? Not that weed is any bit bad, or neither is alcohol. But you guys get my point, though. It's like, is gaming as bad as people are making it out to be? The answer to that is simply no, not in my opinion. But it's been the scapegoat for everything from violence to sexism to misogyny to now mental health disorders. I almost want to just look at the people that are pushing this agenda and go, where are you coming from? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here? And I'm pretty sure if I did that, I know exactly where they would come from too. It's a goddamn local library service. That's who's running the study. I jest. But I do want to know your guys' thoughts on this one. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, check back often for more content from me. My name, of course, is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and if you do want to see more videos, you can do so right now.